What's up, guys? Tony here. Welcome to my channel, and today is something a little different. I'm going to be using Tier Maker, and basically you just rank certain things, and it's all based off your opinion. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Final Fantasy and where each game belongs. S is like the absolute best, A really excellent game, B average, C needs a little work, and then obviously we have bad. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in order, numerically, starting with Final Fantasy 1, and just talking briefly about each one and why I think it belongs in this particular ranking order. So let's get right into it. Final Fantasy 1. I am going to put Final Fantasy 1 right here, right dab in the middle. And the reason I'm going to do that is solely for one reason. The Game Boy Advance version. You've got to play the Game Boy Advance version. That is the definitive version of Final Fantasy, in my opinion. The NES version is not that good. The PlayStation version is not that good. The PSP version, it's okay. But my big drawback is just how slow the original is and the load time with the PlayStation 1 game and also with the PSP. So yeah, there's B right there in the middle of the pack. Final Fantasy 2. Now this is probably going to surprise a few people, but I'm going to put it right up next to Final Fantasy 1. This is considered to be the black sheep of the franchise, along with 8, I'll say. But Final Fantasy 2 gets a lot of flack, a lot of crap, because it's so different, and basically you have to develop your characters by using spells, using attacks, using weapons, and you have to grind a lot. And I actually thoroughly enjoy that. And I actually really like the story. I like the characters, Furion. And I also like the word system. You have to learn words to progress through the story. Great game. Love the game. Final Fantasy 3. Now, I did not play Final Fantasy 3, the real Final Fantasy 3, until I was in college. And I'm going to go ahead and put this right here. Final Fantasy 3, the story is average. Kind of a repeat of the whole Crystal storyline. But I do like the job class system. This is when the job class system gets introduced. And you can customize your party a whole lot more than in Final Fantasy 1 or in Final Fantasy 2. The story, like I said, is average at best. And you are going to be grinding. You are going to grind the heck out of Final Fantasy 3. You can play it on DS. I recommend playing it on DS. And I believe it's also on the PSP. Correct me down in the comments below if I am wrong. Final Fantasy 4. We're going to put it at A. Final Fantasy 4, the story, the characters, the battle system, the active weight system is so good. And it is just so colorful and bright. The music, the soundtrack is amazing. And yeah, I know it's rehashing this whole Crystal story thing, but I really enjoy Cecil and his transformation, spoiler alert, and just turning into a paladin and learning about his origins. And yes, really good game. Again, I actually recommend the Game Boy Advance version of this game. I'm not a fan of the remake on the DS. And I just do not like the voice acting with that game. It's just so bizarre and weird. Also, you gotta play the Super Nintendo original version. And yeah, I know it's the dumbed down version, but you still have got to try it. You still got to try to play it. Really fun game. Awesome game. Final Fantasy 5. I'm going to put it right next to 4. And Final Fantasy V is probably one of my top 4 or 5 Final Fantasy games of all time. And I really like the cast of characters. And the battle system is amazing with the job class system. I really fell in love with the job class system with this game. And I did play Final Fantasy Tactics before this game, but this is the one that really, I don't know, set the bar for me. And I really enjoy going through the X Zone and all that, and the story. And to me, it's an underrated Final Fantasy. The soundtrack is amazing. The graphics are okay. It's in between 4 and 6, you could tell. And it's just so odd that we did not get Final Fantasy V in America. Final Fantasy VI. Automatically gonna put this sucker right here. Okay? And I'm not gonna have very many in the S ranking. And this is quite possibly my 3rd or 4th favorite game of all time, Final Fantasy VI. And I played it on the Super NES back in the day as a kid, and I absolutely love the cast of characters. Huge cast of characters. And there's no true main character, and that was different for me. And I just loved how the narrative flowed and changed, and it didn't matter who you were playing as. You could choose. I love the airships. I loved fighting Kefka, fighting the Espers, fighting the dragons. The world of Ruin was awesome, going and trying to collect and find your friends in various ways. And it is just so good. Now, it is on the easy side. I will say that. Once you understand how to get Ultima, it is a really easy game. But that does not mean it's a bad game. If you're wanting more of a challenge, Final Fantasy V would be more of a challenge than 6. But still, really fun. You have got to play Final Fantasy VI. Final Fantasy VII. Yeah, I this is no surprise. If you have followed my channel, if you know my channel at all, you know I have a deep love for Final Fantasy VII. And here's the funny thing. It just depends on the day between 6 and 7. Like, what's my absolute favorite? It just depends on the day. There was actually a time in my, I don't know, fandom of Final Fantasy where I actually kind of looked down on 7. I thought it was overrated for a while. And then I actually replayed it on the PlayStation 4 when it came out. And I fell in love with it again. The characters, I love Cloud, I love Aeris, Tifa, Yuffie, Red 13, Barret, Cid, Vincent, Cait Sith. I love all those characters. Sephiroth, he is such a great villain. And I love the materia system, finding the ultimate weapons, fighting the ultimate weapons, and just a lot of fun. And it was truly my first 3D RPG, JRPG, and it made me fall in love with the genre. Now, I played these before, but this is the one that truly just made me just seek out everything and anything JRPG related, especially on the PlayStation 1. So in my opinion, the JRPG Golden Age was the Super NES era and the PlayStation 1 era. I actually combined those two together. Those were the best times for RPGs, especially JRPGs. So 7, highly recommend. You can play on the Nintendo Switch as well. And you can play it pretty much anywhere. Now the remake, that's a different story for a different day. I am not getting into that. I'm not very excited about it, just to be completely honest. So we'll see. I'll go in with an open mind. Let me know down in the comments below. Are you excited about Final Fantasy VII Remake? What you've seen so far? And yeah, I don't know, guys. I don't know about that. Final Fantasy VIII. So, I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for this. I don't like Final Fantasy VIII that much. I don't like the story. I don't like Squall. I don't like Rinoa. Rinoa is really, really boring. Seifer, I think that was his name. Yeah, Seifer. He was really boring as well. And I don't know. Now, I actually would really like to replay it again in HD. Kind of like what I did with 7. Maybe that would change my mind, in my opinion. All of my friends really, really love Final Fantasy VIII. And I just do not like the draws system. I don't like the summon system with it. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool. But to me, it just doesn't do the job. And Squall is just such a crybaby. I mean, you can make the argument that Cloud is a crybaby too. But man, it is just rough. It's rough on me to play through it. And yeah, let me know down below if I'm crazy or not. You guys are lucky I didn't put it in bad, because it's like teetering on the edge of kind of okay and just bad. So that's Final Fantasy VIII. Final Fantasy IX. That's going to go in the A range. Final Fantasy IX. And this one is in the A range basically because it's in the same style as the classic Final Fantasies, but in 3D form. I absolutely love the card system. And I forgot to mention that about 8. That was actually pretty fun. The card game. I like collecting the cards. The card game here is much better. I love exploring. The characters are okay. They're deformed. I get it. And yeah, it's good. It's really good. The story is decent. And it's going back to the whole crystal kind of story thing. So yeah, you'll enjoy it. Now, my least favorite character of all time is actually in this game. That'll probably be another list for another day. Quina. She's the chef thing. I don't know exactly what the heck she is, but she's my least favorite character in Final Fantasy history. So Final Fantasy IX. Final Fantasy X. Now, if you were to ask me my opinion on 10 back when it first came out, it would have been a lot higher. But since actually playing through it, on the HD remake and all that, it's okay. I'm going to put it at B. I really like the battle system. It's not really active time anymore. I do not like Tidus or Tidus, or however you want to say it. And Tidus, he's just really, really, really boring. Yuna is really boring as well. And it's just a linear, I don't know, boring snooze fest. I do like the sphere grid. The Blitzball minigame stuff is just not that fun to me. And again, Tidus is just not doing it for me in this game. He's a crybaby just like Squall and Cloud. And for some reason, Square Enix, they love crybaby protagonists. So yeah, right there, kind of dab in the middle. Playable. A lot of people enjoy this game. I actually like X2 a lot more. X2 would actually be like up here compared to this, believe it or not. And I like the job class system in that. I know, it sounds crazy, right? Okay, Final Fantasy 11. So if I had another column for I don't know, I would put it here. And I'm going to put it right here. I did not play Final Fantasy 11. I don't have a real opinion about this game. From what I've been told, it's okay. And I'm going to go ahead and put 14 over here as well, because I have not played 14 as well. Now, the original build of this game was absolute garbage. So if that were still on here, it'd go down here. And again, I have not played these. Let me know down in the comments below, how were these games? I actually own them. I own physical discs of all of these games just to have in the collection. And that might even be a video. Let me know down in the comments below if you want me to do a collection video of my Final Fantasy games and collectibles, I have various things. Nothing too great, nothing too rare. But let me know if you want me to do a Final Fantasy collection video. Alright, so Final Fantasy 11, Final Fantasy 12. I am going to put that up here. S ranking. Now, it could be some nostalgia, but I did replay this game. I played the HD remake, and it was absolutely amazing. I loved it back in the day. I loved it on the PlayStation 2. And when it got re-released, I knew I had to have it. I pre-ordered it, and I wanted to play through it again. And it plays very similar to an online game. Really, I love the exploration. Vaughn is kind of, I don't know. I don't really have an opinion about Vaughn. He's kind of a weak main character, really. Ash would be considered to be the true main character, in my opinion, and so would Bosch. But I do like the cast of characters. Balthier is pretty good. Fran, she's alright. She gets a little annoying, but she grows on you. And Penelo is decent. I like the whole Sky Pirate thing, and kind of references the Star Wars. It's kind of cool. I love the CG cutscenes back in the day. And again, the exploration, the hunts are what make the game. It's absolutely just so much fun to do that and go explore and just defeat those huge hunts and monsters. A lot of fun. Final Fantasy 13. Bad. Absolute garbage. I am not a fan of Final Fantasy 13. Now, Final Fantasy 13-2 would actually be up in here. Either B or C. Probably C. And I actually like it a lot better than 13. It is way too linear. Now, later on in the game, you can explore and hop around and do this, that, and the other. But it's almost too little too late. Lightning, she's just annoying. She kind of reminds me of a female Cloud, somewhat. And just her style is weird. The story is just bizarre as all get out. And didn't fully grasp it and understand it the first playthrough and all that. And yeah, I don't know. They were trying to do something new, and they were going to have some spin-off games, and it just didn't work. It didn't work out very well at all. And actually the third spin-off, I did not like that one either. So yeah, it's okay, but as far as Final Fantasy, it's just not that good. Final Fantasy 15. Okay, so I have played through this, and it's decent. I'm gonna put it at C, but it kind of falls into this kind of trap of 13. Now the whole point of the game is to explore. And I kind of like that. And you're with your buddies, and you're in your car exploring and driving around and just trying to defeat hunts like in Final Fantasy 12. And the story is just not that exciting. The characters are not that exciting. Noctis, to me, is just kind of a snooze fest. And it's bland to me. But with all that being said, I thoroughly enjoy the battle system. The battle system is amazing. And to me, it's kind of a combination of 13 and 12. And you have some more quick time stuff going on there, and some more interaction where it feels more kind of like an action RPG at some points. But yeah, it's all right if you ask me. Not the absolute best. Now, these three are like in my top 10 games of all time. And all of these games would be considered in my top at least 100 games of all time. The reason I would say 100, not 50, is because of Final Fantasy 13. If you take 13 out, in the online games. I'm not really counting those right now. If you take 13 and 15 out in these online games, all of these games would be in my top 50 easily. And I absolutely love Final Fantasy. I absolutely love the series. I'm just very curious to see what they're going to do with 16 and just what they're going to plan. What kind of game? Are they going to go retro on us? What are they going to do? And I know that they said that they're never going retro again, and 9 was the last hurrah, if you will. But it's going to be kind of interesting to see what Square Enix does and continues to do with their Final Fantasy flagship series. I love Final Fantasy. And just let me know down below if you want to comment on any of my choices, if you think I'm dead wrong, if you think some belong somewhere else on my list, let me know down below. And thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. A little bit different, but yeah. Have a great rest of your day.